This is Siddharth here. Today I'll be taking you through the overview about Microsoft BI. So before I start the topic, let me introduce myself. So I am Siddharth Patra, and basically I am from Orissa, and my experience. In terms of my experience, I'm having around 14 years of experience in the field of Microsoft BI, SQL Server, data warehousing, visualization tools like Power BI. Throughout this experience, I have worked as a technical leader, technology manager, technical engineer. So I have performed all this role, and during this experience, whatever knowledge I have gained as part of my training program, I'll be sharing with you. Apart from my experience on working as a developer or technical leader, I also work as a career counselor for past 7 years. In terms of domain experience, I have been working on several projects which are part of banking, financial services, retail, insurance, and healthcare. So that is about my experience. So in my training program, I give training for the different MSBI modules, so which we'll be going through. So let me start presenting my screen. Okay, so today we'll go through the MSBI. So let me go to the respective slide. Yeah. So before we discuss about what is MSBI, let's understand what is BI. Okay, so BI is a technology driven process for analyzing the data and making the data into information. So when I say making the data into information or converting the data into information, so you are taking the raw data from different sources, then you are going to convert that into actionable format. So when I say actionable format, so you are going to convert that into the SQL structure or whatever database you are going to load the data into, and then that data will be placed in the database, and you can generate different kind of reports which will be useful by the business manager or stakeholders. Okay, so the purpose of business intelligence to support for better decision making. So when I say better decision making, so let's say we have some retail store, or so they have different chain of retail store in different locations. So let me go to the another slide and come back to this. So if we take this example, so our business scenario, so as we see, there are different stores available in different locations. So if we can take example of Walmart or Big Bazaar, so they have different stores located in different locations, in different geographical locations. So or they have the online or e-commerce portal through which people are making different orders. Okay, so these orders or the sales happening in different stores are having some backend data prepared. So those data can be taken into a centralized database, and that data can be presented in the actionable format. So when I say actionable format, so let's say business want to see the year-on-year sale or month-on-month sales, or they want to see some analysis of different products, like which product is going good in the market and which product is not going good in the market. So they want to analyze that. So for that reason, we need BI. So for that reason, we need to perform some operation which will be taking the data from different stores, which is generated from the respective system, whether it is a billing system or ERP system. So those data will be generated and sent to the centralized location. Okay, then you are presenting these reports. So when you are presenting these reports, as I said, so it can be a sales report or financial report or product performance reports. So based on that, business can take decision. So for example, we have a product performance report, and some products are not performing well in the market, or there is not much sell for those products. So business will be taking decision to give some promotion or discount to the customer, and for that they will be performing some campaign. So campaign in terms of like sending email or SMSs or WhatsApp messages, so that they can attract the customer for those products, and they can have sales for those products, and they can collect revenue for that product. So if I come back to what is BI, so in align to the other slide which I showed, so we have the business intelligence process through which we are able to get the data, store it somewhere, and generating different report for better decision making. Okay, so coming to the different functionality done by the BI. So as part of BI, we have to do the data modeling. So when I say data modeling, you are modeling a structure of the data which you are going to get. So for example, you are getting different transactions of the customer, and when you are getting different transaction of the customer, it is associated with a date, transaction date, and there is an invoice, and there are different products, and those products are sold to different customers. So if we consider all these, so we have different types of data, right? So we have transactional data, we have dates, we have customer, different products, and those products are sold in different stores. So we have all this information. So for all this information, we need to model our database. So when I'm modeling our database, so we need to create different tables based on the structure defined by the business, or based on the structure you are going to get from the data. Okay, so after that we are going to transform the data. So when I say transform the data, so you are going to collect those data. So for example, you are getting data from different stores, and those are all text files or Excel files. So you need to extract those data. Then if there is any transformation required, so when I say transformation, so you are going to clean the data, and then you are going to load the data into the database. So that is where the data transformation and data cleansing is coming into picture. Then data presentation. So once you have modeled the data, then you are loaded the data into the database, then you are going to present this data in terms of dashboard and reports. So as I given the real-time example or business scenario, that customer or our stakeholders of the business, they want to see some sales report or sales dashboard to see how the different products are performing in the market. Okay, so those kind of reports can be prepared as part of data presentation. And then we have data analysis. So when I say data analysis, so you can, as part of data analysis, you can do like data mining or data statistics, and you can build your cube for that. Okay, so this is about the business intelligence. So let's see, and now we understood why we need MSBI or BI. So in short, if I say, so we need to collect data from different sources and massage the data, load the data into central system, and out of that you can generate different dashboard and reports. So now we know what is BI and why we need BI. So let's understand what is MSBI. So MSBI stands for Microsoft Business Intelligence, and it is a powerful suite of Microsoft. It is composed of different tools which helps to collect the data from different sources, and then transform it and load it, and we can do different data mining queries into that. Okay, so and it, as part of the technology or tools, we use Visual Studio, SSDT, or SQL Server data tool, which is coming along with SQL Server. So I'll be showing in some time from where you can get, and when we are talking about the prerequisite about learning the MSBI technology. Um, basically, so MSBI is from Microsoft, and it is part of the SQL Server family. So using which you can perform the BI operations. So if I go to the different components of MSBI, so we have SSIS, SSRS, and SSAS. So SSIS stands for SQL Server Integration Services, which is used for extract, transform, and load. So we'll be talking about in detail about it. So how to translate the business scenario which we discussed into technology. So, but in at overall, SSIS is used for the ETL, or like in the layman term, it is the tool to load the data. And SSRS is SQL Server Reporting Services, and we use SSRS to create reports, dashboard, and analytics. Then SSAS is SQL Server Analysis Services, where we can build the cube, so multidimensional cube, and do data mining. Okay, so when I am saying building cube, so it is having multidimensional database, and all the data are aggregated so that you can have faster access to the data which you are looking for. For example, you are looking for some year-on-year sales or some fact out of that, so you can get the data very fast in SSAS. So these are the three components which are part of SSIS, which we'll be learning in the MSBI program. So let me just explain the workflow or architecture of the MSBI. So if I go back to our previous slide of the business scenario, we discussed about a business scenario where the business or a retail store is having different stores, or retail company is having different stores in different location. You need to process the data and generate different reports, or you'll be using the data for different purposes. So how do you translate this? So how do you perform this? So as I said, MSBI is the tool from Microsoft, and it is having the three different component like SSIS, SSRS, and SSAS. So how we are using these components of MSBI? So if I come to this slide, so as this picture represents the MSBI. So let me explain you what it is about. Okay, so how the workflow work in the BI process. Okay, so here as I said, so you are getting data from different sources or different stores. So when you have the data generated from different stores, so maybe it is generated in terms of a text file or Excel file, or you may need to access some another SQL server or Oracle server, which is the backend of another upstream system or ERP system. So you can take any sources of data, but if we are talking about the retail, let's say we are taking all the transactional data or product information or customer information for all these sources in terms of text file or SQL Server or Oracle. So that needs to be loaded into a database. So here, so maybe we are going through different process, different low level process of the ETL. So when I'm saying low level process of ETL, so we may need to load the data into staging. Then from the staging, you are going to process the data into the data warehouse, which is the final destination table. So in between, you may do different business logic or transformation. So let's say there are some data coming in the string type, and you need to convert those values to date or numeric. So you can perform that here. So you, as part of the ETL, you can perform it, and then so in this process, in this taking the data from a source and loading it into the warehouse. So SSIS is coming into picture. So we use SSIS for doing this in operation of loading the data from the different sources. Then after the data is loaded into the data warehouse, you can build the cube. So where the SSAS is coming into picture. So you're building your cube, multi-dimensional cube, which is a pre-aggregated data, and you can access the cube. So cube can be used by different reports, or cube can be used by Excel report or SSRS report. So you can consume the cubes for that, and business can utilize that report for decision making. And also, so when we are talking about reports, so it is not only like can get data from a queue, but also it can get data directly from the data warehouse using the TSQL or SQL query. So, or you can create your store procedures. That store procedures can be used in the SSRS report. So in terms of the report, SSRS is coming into picture. So as an overview, so as you see, so we have the data sources involved, then data warehouse involved, and the reports involved. So the taking the data to the data sources to the data warehouse, and from the data warehouse making it presentable is uh, part of the SSRS. Okay, so this is the overview of the MSBI. So to learn MSBI, we need to know some prerequisite. So you should be good in SQL Server programming. So which will be useful to query your data, or if you are performing any DML query or DDL query. So you need that those query knowledge to utilize that when you are performing the task in SSIS or SSRS. So SSAS is separate topic. So where you are going to learn the MDX. So that will be part of the SSAS program or SSAS training. So these are basically the architecture of the MSBI. So if I go to the prerequisite, so you should be having like three tools installed. So one is SQL Server Developer Tools. So this is freely available in the Microsoft portal. So if you go to Microsoft portal, so I pasted the link. So here, as you see, we have the developer edition of SQL Server 2017. So if you want, you can go for the 2019 version also. And that is free of cost, provided you should be selecting the developer edition when you are going to install this. Then we need SSMS. So let me go to that link. So this is part of the Microsoft portal. So you can download the SSMS, which is the client for accessing your database, which or database server, which you have installed in your system using the previous link. So this will be giving you the client. So this is the SSMS. So if I take you one example, so this is the SSMS, so through which I have connected to a server. So I have given the server name, and but before I connect to this, I must have installed this SQL Server from the previous link which I showed. So coming back to the prerequisite, so we need to install another thing, which is SSDT or SQL Server Data Tool. So which will be used for our MSBI development. So this is crucial. So this comes with Visual Studio. So if we are installing this standalone version, it will be coming with Visual Studio 2017. Then you may need some sample database for your practice or for learning the BI modules. So we have different sample databases. So one of them is AdventureWorks, which is a retail project, and it is part of Microsoft Learning. So you can get it from the Microsoft portal. So any version you download, so there are three different versions. So you can take the OLTP or Data Warehouse or Lightweight. So mostly we'll be using the AdventureWorks OLTP, which will be the OLTP database, and AdventureWorks Data Warehouse. So where we'll be getting the tables in terms of the data warehousing. So in terms of data warehousing model. Okay, so we'll be knowing more detail about it later. So these are the prerequisite, but let's say you have installed the SQL Server and SSMS, so you can connect to the database, you can create your database here. So as part of today's training or today's demo, so I have created one training DB. Here I have few tables. So one table is employee, okay, and you need to have the SSDT. So as I said, you need to have SSDT. So you can go for SSDT. So let me open SSDT. So just to give you an overview of the tool. Okay, so once you have installed SSDT, as I said, this is part of Visual Studio. You can go to the file and go to new and project. So when you go to the projects, so it will be showing the different modules of BI. So here you have reporting services through which you can create different reports using SSRS. So this is for the SSRS development. We have integration services, which will be creating an integration services project. So this is for SSIS package development, and we have analysis services where we have tabular or multidimensional uh, cube model, so which you can create your SSAS projects. Okay, so these are the component of MSBI. So as part of today's learning, let me just present one simple SSIS package. So let me create a package. So I can choose integration services project. So I can choose a path here. So let me choose a path. Let's say SSA, yeah. So, and you can give a project name. So let's say SSIS demo project. Okay, and let me create a project. So yeah, so once I create a project, by default it will be creating a default project here with package.dtsx. So SSIS packages are having in package name with the extension dtsx. So then you have different folders available. So let's go through different folders which we are going to use. So SSIS demo project is your project name, and you have the project parameters. So like we can use the project parameters, which will be creating different parameters to make your package dynamic. So which will be part of our advanced SSIS sessions. Then you can create different connections. So this is part of like the latest version of MSBI tool, SSDT tool. So you can create a shared connection. Then SSIS packages. So you can create your package over here, which we'll be discussing today. Then package part, if you want to create some package part, you can create a package part over here, which can be reused. But let me go to the SSIS packages. So here, let's say I'm renaming this package. So you can rename it. So calling it my first project or my first package. Okay, so here, as you see, there are different tabs available. So as part of the package, so we have control flow, then data flow, parameters, event handler, and package explorer. So the control flow is the main area, or you can say the brain of SSIS, where you can keep all the tasks, all different tasks. So when I say different tasks, so maybe it is a data flow task or execute SQL task using which you can um, perform the data loading. Okay, so once you have added a data flow task, we have the data flow area. Okay, so in the data flow, you can take the data from source and you can use different transformation and load the data into the database. So this is the key area where we are going to perform the ETL. Then you can use parameter. As I said, you can use parameter to make your package dynamic. So let's say you want to pass some connection string and which you want to make like dynamic, or you want to change the connection string. Let's say you are moving from development to production environment, so you can change the connection string easily when you have a parameter. Then event handler, let's say you are going to handle some error. So on error, let's say you are going to trigger some email or log the error. So what was the error? So you can do error logging or a custom error logging. So those kind of activity can be done in terms of event handler. So we have different events. So as I given one example, so you can do on error or on post execute or pre execute, which we'll be discussing in detail. But let me go to the another tab. So where like here you have the package explorer, and in the package explorer it will be giving you the entire structure of the packages. So when I say entire structure of the package, it will be showing all the connection manager or whatever log provider you have or executables. So all the things will be put together in the package explorer, whatever components you have in your SSIS package. So let me take one simple example today. So as you see here, there is a SSIS toolbox, and here you have all the component or all the task. So today I'm going to load the data from a source. So I have a project folder, and there I have an input folder. So let's consider this folder is a shared drive, and here my upstream system is putting different data. And let's say I'm getting employee data. So I have an employee table created. So this employee data, so as you see, it is having an employee ID, first name, last name, title, marital status, and salary. So I'm getting this information in terms of text file and comma separated file. So let's take this file, load it into a table employee. So let me just see if I have already data. Okay, so I have some data already. So let me just put a star, but before this, let me truncate this table so that I can demonstrate you. Okay, so I don't have any data now. Let me comment it for accidental truncate. So, okay, so let me go back to my SSIS package. So here, as you know already, so we are taking data from employee. So let me add a data flow task. So data flow task is all about taking the data from a source and loading into the destination. So source may be any format, Excel or flat file or any other SQL sources. Okay, so we'll be going through the detail when we are going to the detail course. But for today's topic, as per the scope, let me just show you how to get the data from a source to the destination. So, and before that, let me see the structure. Okay, fine. So let me go to the data flow task. I have added a data flow task, and let me double click on this. Then I am going to the data flow tab. And here you can take the data from a source. That means from the SSIS toolbox, I need to get a source. So here we have different sources. So let me take a flat file. So text file is considered as a flat file source, and this is the agreed source, or this is the like source provisioned by SSIS for me. So I put the source here, and for this I need to define what is the file I am going to load. So let me edit, and here you can create a new connection manager. So connection manager is nothing but where you are going to give the path. So let me go for new. And let's say I am putting a employee data source. So let me call it as employee data source. So you can browse to the folder. So let me go to my folder and browse, and let me take this EMP1. So once you take that path, so my flat file connection manager will be automatically seeing what is the row delimiter or what is the column delimiter. So row delimiter is next line character, and this file is delimited. So let me go to the columns, as you see, it has already taken the comma automatically because I have the comma separated data, and this is the data as an preview. So we have advanced. So in the advanced, you can see different data types. So by default, it is taking the type data as string. Okay, so how to convert the data and all other things we'll be discussing in the detailed session. So let me come back to the general, and also you can preview the data. So like when you are previewing the data, you can skip certain rows, you want to see certain records, so you can skip it and preview the data. So let me go back to general. So here I have selected the path of the file. Then also I have selected one important thing, that my file is having a column name on the top. So I have selected the column name. So this is important because some of the file may not have the column name on the top. So you can uncheck this one. So let me click OK, and I can go to the columns, and I'm getting all these columns into my source. So I have added a source. So then I need to load this data into a destination database. So as I have SQL Server, so this is OLEDB type. So let me take the OLEDB destination from the other destination. So I have placed it here. So let me take the arrow into the destination. And here you can edit the destination. So and here as well, you can create a new connection manager from here. So here we have option for new. So let me take a new one. So for this, let me take the server name from my SSMS. Let me copy this, put it here. I'll go with the Windows authentication. Then let's select the database. So I am going to take the training DB. So you can test connection. So connection succeeded. And then click OK. And let me click OK again. And here you can choose the table or view. So there are different options. So as part of today's session, I'm just taking through the table view. So let me go to the table view. So here you can choose the table from the database. So let me take the employee table to which we are going to load. So now I have selected the table where I am going to load the data. Let's see the mapping. So mapping is about, so when you have a source, already you have a source. So as you see here, so this is the available input columns, and you have a destination table. So source is the flat file or text file. So these are the columns coming from source, and destination columns are from the database table. So here, because we have the same name of the columns, it is automatically mapped, one-on-one mapped to all the columns available in the destination table. So we have employee ID, first name, last name, title, marital status, and salary. So if you don't have the same name, you need to go here and you need to go to the drop down. So by default, it will be ignore. So you need to go to the drop down and select the right column. But for this case, as we have matching column name, it's selected automatically. So let me click OK. So here my source and destination is ready. So let me just execute this package. So okay, so it is executed successfully with a green tick mark. So if it is not executed successfully, it will be having a red cross. So here, as you see, there are two records loaded, and we can see the data over here. So this is how you can use SSIS package to load the data. So in between, you may need to do some operations, like you want to do some incremental load. So for example, you are getting data for different employees. So first time it loaded certain data, but next time, let's say this data is coming with some changes. So this guy become like senior manager from manager. So this kind of data like can be loaded through the incremental way of data loading. So that will be part of the advanced learning in the next sessions. So we'll be going through that. So, but in short, so this is the like way we can create a SSIS package to take the data from different sources and load it into the destination. So for further topics, so I'll be taking further topics in other session, but thank you for the session today.